Hey, good people, how are you? Bishop V. Ricardo Thomas, Friday Night Live, and I'm coming to you from a remote location. I'm out in Wixom, Michigan, tonight. I have a cousin, a third cousin. She is graduating from high school, and when you graduate from high school, they call it a commencement. They call it a commencement of the beginning. And when you look at that term, hey, Pastor Rod, I God bless you. I see you got something coming up this weekend. Man of God, you know I be following you, everything that you're doing. I be praying for you as well. We just gonna have to get together and have lunch and just talk and have us a discussion. So let's make sure that we be intentional on making that happen. Elder Mo, God bless you. I met our cousin Lauren's drive by. I'm doing a remote location tonight and talking about commencement. And the thing is that generally when people graduate from college or they graduate from high school, they call it a commencement because a commencement means the beginning of something. And what a lot of people fail to understand or don't realize that even though this is a commencement and this is a beginning. Dot, how bless you. Dot has been my friend for I don't know how many 30 years at least. Bless you. I'm so grateful for the praise report with your family down in Texas where they were with the bone marrow and the different treatment that they had there. God is really, really good. And that's one thing that I like about social media is that we're able to keep up with our family. We're able to keep up with our friends and what's going on in each other's lives where we normally wouldn't be able to do that. And this is an extension of what Christ said. He says that you will be able to do greater things. You will, me as a person, I can't be but in one place at one time, he was saying. But there's going to come a time when you as a person are going to be able to be here and you're going to be able to minister to people in all over the world. And that is a great place for us to know. And that's an advantage that uh, we have during this time. Rita Proctor, God bless you, daughter. Uh, Thank you for coming by today. Me and Pastor Lots really enjoyed that visit. It was a little short, but we enjoyed it. But getting back to the commencement, we look at graduation time as a commencement without a lot of people don't really understanding that it means the beginning. And with that being the beginning, if you're graduating, that's the beginning. What's so important is the fact that there was preparation that took place before this point in time. You had to go to school, you had to learn, you had to take tests, you had to do certain things. There was preparations, and that's how it is in our lives. We before we begin certain things or navigate into different directions in our lives and our ministries and our relationships, there's some preparation that has to take place. There's some preparation that must be done, and so I want to tie that in when we talk about tonight's topic. Many people ask me to continue on. Me and Pastor Lots. She's preparing things at the church for another event that we're having tomorrow with young teenagers and young youth to be ministered to at that time with Minister Darrell Woods and Mitch Albon from the Detroit Free Press. We will be hosting that tomorrow at Faith Tabernacle, and I'm just proud of the ministry that we're a part of because we are touching lives, not just locally but nationally, internationally, and we are following the mandates of in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the uttermost parts of the world. And that's why I'm reaching you tonight. And we're going to be talking about, again, maintaining your deliverance, walking in victory. And because many people, we come out of situations, we come out of bad relationships, we come out of situations on our jobs, on our marriages, in our finances, emotionally, mentally. But how do we keep it? How do we maintain and stay on that right road that is healthy, that road of recovery, that road of deliverance, where we can walk in victory, where we can actually say, I have overcame this. And not only that I have overcame this, but I'm maintaining this. And it's so important. Hey, Charlene, God bless you, daughter. It's important. And those are situations that we're going to face throughout our lifetime. And we have to understand that. And this is not something that's just going to go away with a Sunday morning service or a Sunday morning sermon, but it's something that has to be walked out in our lives. It's something that has to be, and that's why I call it maintaining your deliverance. It's just like having a car. You have to maintain your car. You have to make sure that it's oiled. You have to make sure that it's gassed up. You have to make sure that it's lubricated. You have to make sure that the tires are right. There are certain things that you have to maintain in order to make sure that what you are or what you value keeps its worth. And so your deliverance, if you value that and you want it to keep its worth, you have to maintain it. And that's why we talk about the different steps that you take to maintain your deliverance and walking in your walking in victory. And that's what our goals are, is to show you how to walk in victory, to maintain your deliverance. And one of the key points, I started giving this seminar 2008, so that's been like 13 years ago when I first started giving this seminar. And I gave this seminar at TOPS, Transition of Prisoners, hosted by Joe Williams, this here in Detroit. They changed their name. But I was talking to people that had been recently released from prison, trying to mainstream into society. And I talked to them about how to walk in victory. And, getting out of prison, you have that temporary euphoria. I'm out, I'm free. And that's a great feeling. But how do you stay free? How do you prevent yourself from going back into the same situation that you came from? And I know many of you can identify with that, where you've been in bad situations, you were able to come out of them, but for whatever reason, you got back into that situation. You got back into that. And I want you to not go back. Just tell yourself right now, I won't go back. I won't go back. Because if you think about it hard enough, you remember the trouble, you remember the pain, you remember the heartache that you had in that situation. And we shouldn't want to go back into those situations and circumstances that we constantly kept getting into that stopped us from going ahead. Tag your friends, tag your family members, ask them to join us tonight on our session on maintaining your deliverance, walking in victory. And we want you to live a life that's not disappointing. We want you to live a life that is enjoyable. We want you to live a life that is fruitful. We want you to live a life in such a way that you have a resolve within your spirit that I won't go back. I won't go back. I'm going to maintain this deliverance. I'm going to walk in victory because I see that there's better things ahead for me. Bishop V. Ricardo Thomas, this is Friday Night Live. We started this over a year and a half ago during the pandemic, and we're keeping it going because we understand and we realize that Friday nights is a night that people are looking for things. It doesn't necessarily have to be partying. It doesn't have to be bar hopping, but the end of the week is here. And we want to enjoy ourselves. And we want to present you with something that is informative, something that will enhance your life. Hey, Forever Blessed, God bless you. Good to see you, daughter. Yes. Tag somebody, let somebody know, put their names in. And if any of you have questions or comments, type them in. I'm on a remote location, but I can see my screen. I'm close enough to my screen where I can read it. I can answer it. We can discuss whatever questions you have on maintaining your deliverance and walking in victory, because it is so important. Again, this is a seminar that I started back in 2008, and I want to communicate to you some how-tos. How do you maintain that deliverance? How do you keep on walking in victory? Because as you always hear me say, you were not designed for failure. Can you remember that? If you don't remember anything else, just say, Bishop used to always tell us, you were not designed for failure. Hey, Mama Gail, God bless you. And Mama Gail and Daddy Travis, they just been enjoying their lives in the last few weeks. That's what we want to do. We want to enjoy our lives. We don't want to be bound. We don't want to be held captive. And even when the enemy comes against us, we still want to know that we can live our lives and we can enjoy our lives. So remember, you were not designed for failure. And another thing that I always tell you is that don't disqualify yourself. Don't think that when you see someone else living a good life or a great life that you say to yourself, well, I can't have that. I can't do that. I don't deserve that. All of those negative thoughts. You know, the Bible tells us that as a man thinketh, so is he. If you continue to think negative thoughts, you will never be able to maintain your deliverance or walk in victory. And that's why we talk about having a renewed mind. You have to change the way that you think. You have to think positively, like, hey, this is a great life. Like, look here, I'm not entangled with that, you know. You don't want to be entangled with the things that kept you bound up. I don't care what it is or what it was. If it was emotional, if it was chemical, if it was relational, if it was spiritual, whatever the case it might have been. But I want you to walk in freedom. And again, if any of you have questions, type it out. I can see the screen clearly on tonight. And this is a night of commencement. Again, I'm celebrating with a cousin of mine that is graduating. And the commencement means a new beginning, a new start. but it also means that there was preparation that took place before that. And in your life, you have gone through some things. And I want you to be at a place of commencement. I want you to be at a place of beginning to walk in freedom, to walk in deliverance, to walk in victory. So bless each and every one of you. Mama Gail, I see you tag Carol. Carol, come on in here, girl, and be a part of what we're talking about today. And because what we're talking about today is not something that is a one-time event. You will find out throughout your life that you will constantly face challenges. You will constantly face difficulties that you have to overcome in order to become victorious, in order to walk in victory. So if there's an area in your life that you may be struggling with tonight, and you don't mind sharing, just tapping in, and I will discuss some of that area as much as I possibly can to help somebody else on how to get past those things. And you know, it's a responsibility on us. It's not like God's gonna just wave a magic wand and then all of a sudden everything is gonna be okay. There's some work that we have to do. In order for you to get paid every week, there's some work that you have to do. In order for you to get the rewards in your marriage and in your relationship, there is some work that you have to do. In order for you to grow and obtain certain things in life, there is some work that you have to do. And that's why we talk about walking in victory. You don't just live in victory. There is some work that you have to do. It's you can't just, hey Carol, I see you joined us. God bless you. There's some work that you have to do. We don't just tiptoe through the tulips. We don't just enjoy our extravagant lives or our better lives than we had a year ago, 5 years ago. There's some work that you have to do. You have to maintain your deliverance the same way you maintain your vehicles. And for you, Carol, the same way that you maintain that motorcycle that you have. You know, you can't keep riding that motorcycle if you don't maintain it. You cannot continue to ride a joyful life, a loving life, if you don't maintain it. Do you hear what I'm telling you? This is some work. You have to put in some sweat equity. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm not the kind of pastor that say like, hey, it's up in the sky, give me an offering and all that. No, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be 100. It takes some work. And I'm here to tell you, you were not designed for failure. You are equipped. You are endowed with the Spirit of God that will allow you and enable you. It will encourage you. It will enlighten you to live a life where you can maintain your deliverance and walk in victory. Lisa Dodell, God bless you, woman of God. Hey, look here. And I want to tell all of your friends when you message them, tell them to catch this from the beginning so that they can hear what's going on from the beginning as far as commencement, as far as maintaining your deliverance and walking in victory. Because we have to do it, you know, as believers. Just because you go to church doesn't mean that you're going to walk in victory, because we have many people that are in the walls of the church that are not maintaining their deliverance or walking in victory. They come in sad, they come in hurt week after week, and there's no change in their lives. There's no renewing of the mind. There's no change in their actions or things of that nature. And hey, Deacon Travis, God bless you, man of God. So glad to see you here. I was just talking about you and Mama Gail. I like the interaction on this here. This is not just like your regular Bible study, but this is just where we kick it. This is where we talk to one another. And they have been enjoying their lives, but they have able to enjoy their life because they did the work. Remember when I talked about doing the work? And Rita says, this is good, Bishop. It's some work that goes into marriage and walking in victory as well. Rita, you are so right about that. Whether it's marriage, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship with God and church, it's some work that has to be done. And I was talking with a therapist this past week, and we were on the subject of marriage and things like that there, and she mentioned that at some time somebody gave up. In other words, somebody quit working at it. Somebody quit maintaining what they had. And that's so important in our marriages. I was just listening to the Karen Hunter show when I was riding here to this remote location, and it was a couple, Grammy-winning couple. I can't think of their name, and they were talking about how even though they perform together, they have to work on their relationship. Even at times when they're traveling and they're on the road, they give each other space and things like that. You have to find out what works for you. And once you find out what works for you, you have to stick to that in order to maintain your sanity, in order to maintain your health, in order to maintain your peace of mind, and in order to get the rewards. Because there are rewards in relationship. There are rewards in doing good work. You get pensions, you get vacations, you get things like that, but you have to do the work. Mother Bailey, God bless you. Blessed Mother Jazz, God bless you, daughter. Again, Rita typed in that comment about working on marriages. You have to work on your relationships, on your mental health, your physical health, and you have to find out. And me and another elder, we were talking about health wise. We're talking about some health issues, and going back to what you're saying, Alicia Didell, is find out what works for you. That everything doesn't work for everybody. You have to find out what works for you. But one of the things that I have found out that prevents us from working through any of our situations, whether it be emotional, whether it be marriage, relational, our employment, things of that nature, is unforgiveness. That will stop you from moving forward. That spirit of unforgiveness. John Bevere talks about in his book, The Bait of Satan, how that spirit of offense comes upon us. And when that spirit of offense comes upon us and we feel that we have been wronged, if we don't forgive people, we will never be able to move forward. And there are many people that have been wronged. There are many of you that have been offended, have been taken advantage of, have been abused in your life. And we must learn to forgive, because the forgiveness will not just release the person of the trespass that they've done to us, the injustice that they've done to us, the injustice that they've done to you, but it releases you. It releases you to commence. Remember, I told you I'm here at a commencement celebration, but there's some preparation that goes in before you're able to have a new beginning, before you can start forward. And part of that preparation is forgiveness. We have to release people and let that hurt go, let that guilt go, let that shame go. And when we talk about forgiveness, it's not just forgiving someone else. There are times when we have to learn to forgive ourselves. And when I talk about forgiveness, I don't just talk to the victims. I talk to the predators as well. I'm getting a lot of questions here. Let me see. Mama Gail, in order for marriages to work, you can't become complacent and take your spouse for granted. That's a trap, okay? Jazz says forgiveness also releases you from the perceived injury. They may not have done anything, okay? Carol, so let's go right in there where we're at right there. Some things we know have been done to us. Some things we can't lie about that. Those are things that naturally happen. But that Elder Mo, he always talks about in his inner healing and deliverance, and he talks about perceived injuries. Sometimes a person really haven't did anything to us, but if we perceive that they did, then to us that is what has happened, and we have to let those things go as well. In the marriages, as Mama Gail was saying, you can't be complacent. Any good gift, you don't take it for granted. Marriage is a gift. Your spouse is a gift. Don't get so used to them. Don't get so common with them that they're no longer precious to you. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's your mate. That's who you're in relationship with. I've and I'm not even gonna go into my recent experiences, but there are things that you take for granted, and you don't value them as much as you should value them, and sometimes we let other people determine what the value of something or someone is in our lives. It may not be important to their lives, but to your life, it's important. You fight for what's important in your life. You maintain what's important in your life. If it's your sobriety, if it's your freedom, if it's your peace of mind, if it's your marriage, if it's your job, people ask you like, why you working there? Why you working there? It pays me. It gets my bills paid. You are not paying them. I have to work. I have to maintain my lifestyle. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about maintaining your deliverance. We're not just talking about on a spiritual level. I'm talking to you on a holistic level of your life. It transcends just the spirituality, but I'm talking to your emotions. I'm talking to your mentality. I'm talking to your physical health. I'm talking to your well-being. And that's why I say this is not just about us just going through the scriptures, but this is about me just talking to you as a person to let you know that there's more to you than you coming to a building on a Sunday morning and giving your tithes and think that's it. No, Because on Monday, what you got to do? You got to go to work. On Tuesday, your wife or your husband is asking you for something. You have to maintain your relationship. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm good with this tonight. I swear. I'm good with this tonight. Annette Bailey says you must maintain that what makes you happy and at peace. You must look out for your personal mental. That's right, mother. You must do that, because if your mentality and your peace is not there, that's why people come to church mean. That's why people come to church and they put on a church face and be lying and say they blessed, but they mad as heck because they just got into a argument with their husband, or they've been fussing all week long. And that's why I talked about forgiveness. You got to let that stuff go. Let 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 that go, so that you can be in a peace of mind, that you're able to relate to other people. And look here, this is another key. It makes you have a better relationship with yourself. Makes you have a better relationship with yourself. You hear what I'm saying? What you say, Jasmine? They mean as a rattlesnake. And we come to church a lot of times, and people come in there. You want to get your praise on, and they mean. It look like my mama used to say, like they done sucked on a persimmon. It's all bitter and stuff. Like, hey, come on. Again, you have to be at peace with yourself. Have to be at peace with yourself. I was Darlene, God bless you. God bless you. That's a must. I was sharing with someone this week that because I had some anger issues in years past, when I was angry because I wasn't living the life that I knew I should have been living. And I didn't know how to identify it then. I learned to later through counseling and things of that nature. But what was happening was, because I was so dissatisfied with my own life, where I was in life, I started taking that anger out on other people. I was real angry. I wasn't so much physically abusive, but I was verbally abusive, and I would cover it up, and I would tell people, well, I ain't lying, am I? I'm telling you the truth, but I wasn't speaking the truth in love. I was venting out my anger, and when I talked about taking it out on people, is because I hadn't forgave myself and gave myself a chance to move forward, that I took it out on other people. Mama Gail, you say misery loves company. And Mother Bailey, you saying like you have to sit back sometimes. You have to release. You have to exhale. You have to come to a decision that I'm going to move past this point in life that I'm at. I'm not moving forward. Things are not getting better. I have to do something different. And so if you haven't reached that point of peace in your life, if you haven't reached that stability in your life, ask yourself, what can I do different? And for many of people, like Jasmine just says, it takes wisdom, go to counseling. Many of you cannot save yourself. We seek counsel. We seek counsel from other people. We seek counsel from ministers. We seek counsels from parents, from friends that have the right mindset. You have to pray and ask Holy Spirit who to send you to for counseling. And y'all that know me, I'm transparent. I tell people I seek counseling. I do. I don't have all the answers. I don't care about that title bishop. That title bishop does not give me peace of mind. That title bishop, pastor, does not give me joy in my heart. That comes from a state of being. And you have to maintain your deliverance and you have to walk in victory. And Mama Gail, you have to need to identify what the problem is. And that's true. And for many people, that is the problem, is that they don't know what the problem is. And that's why, I pride myself on Faith Tabernacle Church. We are a teaching facility, we are a training facility. We have biblical counseling classes, and I encourage all of you, tell your friends. We're going to start back up in September. BC1 is where we do a self-confrontation and look at ourselves and see what our problems are. Micki wants to be added to the video. How do I do it? I don't know. Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna try something new. Guest request. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna see. Let's see if we can bring Pastor Lots on. And I got it going straight up and down. Okay, so she's able to be at the bottom part. Okay, all right. I guess she is. She's on there
here? Can you hear?
With us as well. Let me make sure my volume is up. And by me being in a remote location, I don't have someone helping me. Pastor Lots, can Jasmine say you did it? Okay. Pastor Lots, say something. Let me know you there.
Can you hear me, Bishop?
Yeah. Okay, we're great. Okay, we're good. Okay.
You didn't have to stop your point, but I didn't want you to stop me at sentence. But what you were saying was so good that it's two things. When we hold on to unforgiveness, it's because we have an expectation that this person is not meeting. And when a person does not meet that expectation, it's not so much that we're hurt on the disappointment and trauma of the relationship, which we are. We're really hurt with our personal expectations of what we had of that person. And when they begin to disappoint us, or they're not meeting that expectation, it causes us to have some resentment, and it causes us to have, deep hurt. Like, we together. Why, you fill in the blank, whatever that blank is. And,
right.
I just wanted to talk about that, not having your expectations met. I think that's really important when you're talking about people being disappointed in a relationship. And the other thing is, when you were just talking about counsel, I think it's really important that people be still, listen to the voice of God. And when you feel that you can't hear God's voice, or God is not sending you somebody to help you, it is imperative that you seek out other people, because another person can help you say, I always use the analogy, hey, you got some coffee on your shirt, you got a mustard stain on your shirt. A lot of times we're not able to see our blind spots, or we're not able to see all the stains on our clothes that somebody else can come and not only point it out to us, but get a little sheet of a wet wipe and help us wipe it off. And so I think that's the importance of counseling that I just wanted to point out, that it's so important to have someone else help point out a blind spot that you may not be able to see on your own.
Right. That's a great analogy, because it's not, how they talk about the man in the mirror. How many times have you looked in the mirror, and then, like you say, then you see that coffee stain, and like, oh wow, I was about to go out here with this suit or this dress, and I got a spot on it. But looking forward, we can't see inwardly, and that's why it's important, that terminology of looking at the man or the person in the mirror.
In the
And
mirror.
sometimes
Yeah.
when we don't see ourselves, we need someone else to point it out to us. And another point that you brought out is that um, when people don't meet our expectations, um, when people don't meet our expectations, and many times we give people uh, a second, a third, a fourth chance to meet our expectations. There has to come a time in your life when you have to come to the knowledge and the realization and the revelation that that person is not capable of meeting those expectations. And when you come to that, you have to release them from those expectations. It doesn't mean that they no longer your friend. It just means that they can't meet those expectations. They're going to be your friend on this level, but you can't expect them to be a friend on this level here. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
it's so important that we know who we're yoking up with as far as marriages, because some people can meet our expectations on this level and can't
Mm-hmm.
meet our expectations on this other level. And if they
Right.
can't meet your expectations with what you're looking at, then you're going to have to decide if you're going to let them go or if you're going to come down to where their level is. And and then you have to decide, are you going to be disqualifying yourself? And so those are some very important things when we talk about walking in victory. You have to have boundaries in your life. You have to have standards in your life. And you can't be how can I say apologetic for wanting the type of lifestyle that you want. Someone else has something on here. Monica say, we already know it, but we keep trying to pull a rabbit out there. We can't, right. We are not magicians. And we all know that magicians are just smoke and mirrors. We're
Wow.
fooling people. And we're fooling people. And so when we try to pull rabbits out the hat, all we're doing is
Mhm.
fooling ourselves. We know we're doing some things that are really not reality. And so we can't do that. Elder Mo say that's good. Uh, sacrifice is a
I,
necessity. Okay, let's talk about that. Would you gonna say something, Pastor Lots?
yeah, I think we really have to learn how to love people where they are.
Yeah, right where they are. Yeah. Is it raining, Pastor Lot? Pastor Lots, can you hear me? Pastor Lots, can you hear me? Pastor Lots, can you hear me? Pastor Lots, Pastor Lot, can can you hear me? Can you hear me, Pastor Lots? I think I might have to cut Pastor Lots off. Pastor Lots, Pastor Lots, can you hear me? Pastor Lots, can you hear me? Okay, can everybody else hear me? Can everybody else hear me? I know we're having very, very bad rainstorms right now and going through. And I know if anybody can hear me right now, Mother Bailey, you saying yes? Okay, okay, everyone can hear me. We're trying to get back with Pastor Lots on that there. One of the questions came up, I think it was Mama Gail. She talked about sacrifice. And that's what we have to be willing to decide. That's what boundaries come in at when we talk about maintaining uh our deliverance or maintaining or walking in victory. We have to decide what we are willing to sacrifice in order to be comfortable in our environment. I say in our environment because it could be work, it could be our marriage, it could be relational, it could be our mental health, it could be our physical health, uh, whatever it is. But you have to make that decision. And because that's a decision that you have to live with. And you know how we see people in what we consider unhealthy relationships or unhealthy work environments, and we wonder why they stay in there, and it's because they're willing to make certain sacrifices because they want to stay in that relationship. And that's what we have to decide what we want to do in terms of walking in victory. uh how bad do you want to walk in victory? How bad do you want to maintain your lifestyle? I know, like for me, my background, my background. One thing I know, I will never do again. I will never smoke cocaine again. I know that will disrupt and in everything that I have. I don't care how much money I may have had. I don't care how many friendships I may have. I will ruin them all and lose them all if I go back to that. So in order for me to maintain my deliverance and walk in victory, I that's the one thing that I know without a shadow of a doubt that I cannot go back to. There have been other things in my life and relationships and stuff that, different choices, uh, they haven't ended my life, and I've had to overcome certain circumstances. And I've sought counseling for those situations and going back again. Don't be afraid to seek counseling. Don't be afraid, as Pastor Lots was saying, to have someone in your circle that'll say, hey, you have a mustard stain on your shirt, or you have a deficiency in your life, and you take them up on that. Or it may be that unforgiveness that I was talking about, and you want to learn to forgive. You want to learn to let people go. uh yeah, Jazz, we have to have a bottom line. You have to have a point in your life, and that the bottom line is a boundary. You have to have boundaries. We have material by Dr. Cloud, about boundaries. It's one of our textbooks in our BC classes. And you have to learn about boundaries. You have to set boundaries, because boundaries, they not only protect you, but they keep you in line. They stop things from coming in, and they stop you from going out beyond into dangerous territories for your physical health, for your mental health, for your emotional and spiritual health as well. So you want to learn how to create and to have boundaries in your life in order to maintain your victory. Because some of the things that you used to do, you just have to come to the realization I can't do them anymore. Hey, Cynthia Wells there. I seen the video today of you walking again. I am so proud of you. Uh, Many of you may not know her, but we came back to Christ together at the same time back in 1991 when we both got out of treatment, and we've been maintaining this walk. We've had some health challenges and stuff, but God is still good. I'm so glad to see you on tonight. Go back and look at this Friday Night Live from the beginning. Simp, that's CIMP. I call her Simp. That was a nickname we had for her. She used to sing in the choir at Faith Tabernacle and all of that. Pastor Lot, she says boundaries are so important. Uh, the next thing I want to speak on, can I bring you back on, Pastor Lots? Can you put in a request to come back on? I'll put you back on. I know we running close to our time. We might go a little longer today, but Pastor Lots, if you want to come back on, put the request in. Okay, there it is. Y'all watch me now. I know how to do this thing now. Huh, shut up. Y'all watch this. There.
Is that better?
Tell me I can.
It started raining really bad outside.
I figured that. Yeah.
And I think that's how I lost connection. But yeah, this has been really good, what you're talking about tonight.
So you said you wanted to say something else about boundaries, or you just want to get back on with us?
Oh no, I was saying I'm gonna speak on that later about boundaries, because that's kind of been in my heart for the last few months about boundaries. But what I was saying earlier, I think I was cut off when I was talking about the expectations, the unrealistic expectations that we have for people.
Yeah.
And I was making the point that we have to love people where we are. And if we don't know or learn how to love people where we are, we will always be disappointed, because we will have this expectation of where we want people to be. And it's not saying that we should settle. I don't want anybody to think I'm saying you should settle. You know what you want and you know what you deserve in life. But if you have a partner, if your spouse is a really good person and you know they love the Lord and you know they're trying their best, then we have to learn how to love them until they grow to that point, or until they mature and get to that point. That's the purpose of growth in life, and half the time we knew where those people were when we were dating, but we had an unrealistic expectation that when we got married that things would change, or when this happened things would change, or when that happened things would change. And when that person doesn't change, we're constantly disappointed. And so we have to learn how to love people where they are, so we can have a more enjoyable and fulfilling relationship.
Yeah. I think that next week we probably should talk about the boundaries. Today we talked about letting people go with unforgiveness and stuff, but the boundaries, and we Mother Bailey said, don't let people step out or ignore them. And another thing on that, Mother Bailey, look here, what I found out, and just recently in my life, you can't let other people set your boundaries. That is so important, because see, when and I'm talking about relational right now, I'm just getting it real. Sometimes you may be here and they may be there, and you don't necessarily meet all of their expectations, but because of the love that you have for each other, you're willing to deal with and to have relationship and know how to interact with each other. And when you have other people setting your boundaries for you, you're gonna find yourself ending up unhappy because you ain't gonna be with them people that's setting up your boundaries. And you're gonna be losing out on something precious in your life. And you're gonna have to watch out for that. And I know myself, you know, I'm just speaking honestly to everyone. When I get into a relationship again, I'm not going to let anybody else set my boundaries but me. You know, like there are people that set boundaries, be like, they're not a first lady, or they're not a bishop's wife, or that's not who you should be with. And I start listening to all of these ears, and the boundaries that I set for my happiness, I've allowed them to change. And because, and I talk about this more next week, and by allowing them to change, I miss out on my happiness, and then people going on with their lives, they're doing what they want to do. And so you have to know what your boundaries are in order for you to walk in victory and for you to maintain your deliverance. And a lot of people may not understand, you know, your boundaries, but they're your boundaries. And that's why when people go through stuff, and when I'm counseling people, I realize that there are some things that people are just not going to change, and I have to respect that. And I have to know, and I have to try to find a way to help them to receive happiness and wholeness within the scope of what the boundaries are that they've set, and give them some parameters and some guidelines to go by. Hey, Pat Pearson, God bless you. Rita Proctor, yeah, set your own boundaries. Travis, what you say? Set your boundaries, they can keep you where yeah, right, Travis. When someone else sets your boundaries, they can keep you where they want you to be. Right. And so now you're not living for yourself, you're living for other people. So boundaries is going to be the subject that we're going to talk about next week. Boundaries. We're going to talk about boundaries. We want you ahead of time to tag somebody, let people know, and we're going to send out an email and let people know that we're going to be talking about boundaries and the importance of boundaries in our lives, and how we can walk in victory by maintaining our boundaries. Because what may be victorious for you may not be victorious for somebody else, but you're happy, and you have to walk in your own happiness and what's good for your life. And if it doesn't please other people, we'll get into that next week, people. This is just a preview, a trailer. Pastor Lotz, you want to have a closing words or close us out? Okay.
No. Oh, I'll close you out if you want. Well,
Okay.
you can
all
do
right.
it,
Bless you.
because you started it off, so you know how you wanted to end.
Okay. Well, no, it took a different twist. It took a different turn, you know, with boundaries. I want to just leave them with that note. You know how we have previews to different movies or different trailers? I want y'all to be excited about what's coming up next week when we talk about boundaries. When we talk about boundaries, because you know what? Coming up next week, we're leading up into Independence Day, where we recognize the holiday. And some people, when you get independence, you have to set boundaries. You have to say that I will no longer be a slave to someone else's thoughts, someone else's ideologies, and things like that. There, I want to set my own independence. So look here, I want you to be excited about next week when we talk about boundaries. Anybody that's in your group, you're going to get the email, going to let you know. We're looking for a great turnout next week when we talk about boundaries. So with that being said, Pastor Lots, will you close us out in prayer, please?
Sure. Father, we thank you for this night. We thank you for the word of God that Bishop brought forth. We just thank you for forgiveness on tonight in relationships, forgiveness in marriages. We speak strength in marriages. We speak honesty. We speak people that will be able to look at themselves in the mirror. A lot of times it's easy for us to pinpoint other people, but it's not always easy for us to look at ourselves. Father, teach us how to look at the man in the mirror. Teach us how to examine our own selves in your son Jesus' name. Let everybody have an enjoyable weekend. Let them take this word and let it resonate with them in their hearts and in their minds and in their spirit. And we teach victory. We speak that they will walk in victory. They will maintain their victory. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen. We love you on tonight.
Amen. Amen. This was good tonight, people. God bless you all. God keep you, and we'll see you next week. Okay. And then join us this Sunday morning as well. Pastor Lots will be bringing forth the word on Sunday morning in our service. So join us on Sunday as she brings the word. God bless you. God keep you.